Oh, hello and welcome to another Total War competitive battle replay with me, Janet, on occasion. You can see here we have the Gobbo King versus Osiris. I don't know why he calls himself Doggo, but he's gone with that classic Vanguard high elf build. You can see right here he has his only non-Vanguard unit, but we'll go ahead and we'll give it a nice little peek here on what's going on. You can see down here, Gobbo, they have deployed upon each other, but that's typical Vanguard shenanigans. You gotta learn to love it. But you see the Lyrian Reavers, they're quick to kind of pull in, though ideally you would want them to come after the Squig Hoppers. The Squig Hoppers are the bigger threat to your skirmishers, but the nice side of the Goblin Wolfriars is they're cheap and they have a lot of focus there. But the Lyrian Reavers with their mighty and powerful charge bonus of 40 should be able to tear them down and focus off. So we're going to have a little bit of shenanigans going on already and focus off there. Let's go ahead and do a quick little Jan on occasion drive-by patented replay. So our army list. So we have the Lyrian Reavers and we do have some Shadow Walkers, which they're a hefty group, but they got a 42 melee attack, and against the infantry they're going to have an extra 12 bonus, and they have poison, so don't forget about that. So they're going to do okay. And they have some Shadow Walkers, you have some Storm Riders who provide a little bit of anti-large, and that's just for a fallback position. Anytime you're playing the classic Vanguard High Elf build, you want to be able to take your units, and then when they're being chased by large units, run through the Storm Riders and have those Squig Hoppers and those Cavs get caught onto them. And then last but not least, we do have the Gray and another Shadow Warrior. For the Orc army, not bad. You can see he's gone for a very wide army, no doubt trying to envelop the High Elves, but this is what happens when High Elves are led by a Gobbo, I guess. I don't really know, but that's the Gobbo King for you, doing crazy things. But I'm definitely 100% Janet. So let's jump back to this fight, and because this is where most of the action is going. You see what Gobbo's done is he's summoned the decoy, and he's put the decoy in melee mode, and that's to force the Savage Orcs to get caught into a combat that they don't want to have, and we can start having the Reaver archers start hitting, and this is what Gobbo's trying to do. As you damage the unit, you start breaking the leadership, because when you're kiting, you're not killing, you're trying to maim units. So like this unit of Biggins with no shield, we want to start maiming it. We want to start getting it down, because as you can see, his leadership is starting to duck. He sees damage sustained. That's what we want to start doing. And then we want to start targeting leadership. By leadership, I mean the orc shaman and Grimgore. We wanted the actual leadership. And right here, this Lyrian Reaver, they're just holding out. I know they're not doing too well, but they've already gotten rid of one unit of warriors, and now they're going for another. And we're just using the Shadow Mage to kind of keep holding. But right here, the decoy, once again, paying for itself, just holding them down as the Shadow Walkers and Nithnar get in there. Because Nithnar is at 9 kills. Let's see if we can get another bolt thrower shot from him. Of course, every time I go in for my super famous slow-mo, he'll miss. There we go. So we got at least 2 kills. So what was he at? 9? Now he's at 11. So we got 2 kills with that shot. And then back here, we finished with the Orc Biggins. So you can see Gobbo immediately switching to the Orc Boys, because there's no reason to waste ammunition here. This is the next threat. Focus on the next threat and just work it down. So we have all these units focusing it down, and we're going for the rest. You can see back here, the Gray and the other warriors just kind of passing away as the Lyrian Reavers kind of provide that support. And because the Orc army was so wide, it ended up backfiring on him, because now a lot of his units are kind of away from the combat where they needed to be. And you can see here, so by the time the Orc boys make it, they've sustained so much damage that Gobbo could even turn around and attack. Or, the Orcs could just decide that the Lord of Seaguard, we're no longer needed. So goodbye, everyone. Please pay your respects in the comments by pressing F for the Lord of Seaguard. They fought a good fight, and then they died. They died so bad. But we're going to just kind of focus them down. Now, the Black Orcs are a bad target for most of the units, because there's not a lot of armor piercing in Gobbo's army. So we really want to focus on these Orc Boys and the Biggins. The Biggins are probably the best target just because of the lack of shields, and we can focus. But right now, Gobbo is just saw the opportunity that the Orc Shaman had wandered a little bit too close, so now he's going to use his Lyrian Archers to come in, do a quick hit, hopefully drop that leadership, and then go after the Orc Shaman and keep going. Now, the rest of it, the 2 units here are really tying up a lot, so they're tying up more than they're worth. So that's actually a pretty good benefit with these kite armies, but you got to be careful. Sometimes it can backfire. But we're slowly getting pulled back into the corner, Gobbo tried to use the decoy again to catch Grimgore and a couple other units. It didn't work out this particular time, but sometimes it does. I mean, that's this. You can only pull off your trick so many times. So Gobbo's coming in here. He sent his Lyrian Reavers in. And now he's either doing two things. One, he's trying to delay the engagements by hitting and running and pulling the forces up and away. Or, you can see, Gobbo must have fired another bow. Or, what he's going to do is he's going to charge in there because the unit's already pretty damaged. But if he charges in there, he's going to cause all three of these units to start to blob in one spot. And if he has something like, I don't know, say a pendulum or some other giant breath spell, he could possibly get a nice big juicy hit. Now, he probably charged in a little prematurely, but that's okay. Oh, well, look at that. It's almost like, all right, Jan, know Gobbo so well that I knew he was going to drop that shot in there. But we're going to just keep picking away. So you see the biggins have already, or the orc boys have taken so much casualty. We don't have to worry about them. Now we really just got to focus on those orc boys and constant spells and working down the black orcs. So we're going to keep working their way. You can see over here the Greys kind of done well. The Nasty Skulkers don't really have any armor, and they're just going to get picked off by the Grey. They're just going to be so tattered they're not going to be able to pull off any shots. But you see here, Gobbo's coming in, firing some bolt thrower rounds. It looks like you have 1, 2, 3 pair of legs for one shot, so that's not too bad. So 43, we're expecting probably another 3 kills. So that's going to be 46. Yep, so 3 black orcs per shot. Which isn't too terrible. Now you can see another tactic that Gobbo's doing. Because his opponent's leadership's so low, what he's going to do is he's going to take these mighty Shadow Warriors, which are fairly healthy, and the other, or sorry, Shadow Walkers and the other unit. He's going to go for this L-shaped fight instead of blobbing them all in. And you can just see that leadership start to tank as soon as they see that they're being hit from the flank, and we're going to force them off that way. So Gobbo, once he's just holding down these black orcs, constantly using Melkov Misfire just to lower the hit points per unit, because every time that Nithnar shoots, that's another 3 dead orc bodies. You can see 1, 2, 3. He's just follow the rules of 3. I guess the Nithnar follows black magic or something. But at this point, it's looking pretty bleak for the orcs. They're trying to get in. The Lost and Seaguard, the Swing Hoppers might be able to do work because they're so injured, but they're already turned around and braced. So they should be able to hold, and with the backup of the other group of Shadow Walkers, they'll be able to hold. And then we just got to use the Mage of Shadows to come into the back line here and force them off. You can see Nithnar, once again, using that decoy to hold them in place. That got about 11 kills, by the way. The Moonbow's a little bit more effective. But with that, using decoy, hold the orcs in place. They blobbed up, fired the Moonbow. And I think that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, about 8 kills with the Moonbow, so not too terrible. And now we're just, once again, Gobbo's going to go back to working down leadership. Focus down Grimgore, Ironhide. Not a lot left. So now we're going to send the decoy in to help pin the units in place. And you can see what Gobbo's doing here is he's taking his Shadow Warriors and peeling them this way. He's taking the Grey, he's peeling them that way. And he has the Shadow Walkers in place here. And he's going to envelop his opponent. So once again, letting him come in. Once we see that the Warlords boys have decided to engage the Shadow Walkers, we charge in. You see they're going to get hit by the flank. Let's watch that leadership turn down, so they get pulled into there. The Shadow Walkers and their gross like 56 attack, they're just going to cut down the last of those units. And then the mighty Nithnar, who's not actually the decoy, is going to come in for the last shot. And with Grimgore being so low, it's pretty safe that Nithnar can pull through. He's got 89 defense. He's going to pull through. So we're just kind of manipulating the game's mechanics and trying to pull that down. And with the last of it, the Grey is going to come in with their 99 kills. They're going to come through the back, and you should just see a giant chain route, and that should be it for the game. So thanks to the Gobbo King for sending that in. You know, it's a risky build, but it was interesting. The Lyrian Reavers at a tantalizing 550 are definitely worth re-looking at. You know, this army is quite heavy, and it works well against, you know, some if the map is right and you have an area to maneuver, you can just see kind of what happens here if you can get a proper kite. You just hold them off. You know, Osiris here, he had a decent list. The only problem with Osiris's army is that he just wasn't able to capitalize on his Wolf Riders and his Squigs to get into a really good position. And you can see, you know, the Shadow Warriors didn't do so well, but the Shadow Walkers raked up a few chevrons, and a Nithanar coming in there with 80. You know, if you enjoyed what you saw, be sure to like and subscribe, or I don't know, don't like. I don't know. I'm not actually Janet. You know, he's got a Patreon account. You should probably help him out so he doesn't have to have me do replays for him. And I don't know. He's got a Discord. They talk about stuff. It's in the description. You know, Janet's going to talk to you in the comments. So talk to him. Bye. I'm a cowboy.